Okay, I'd like to reconvene our June 1st, 2020 meeting and call it to order. Tim.
Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions on the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 19, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Freetown Board of Selectmen is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort is being made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to view this meeting while in progress may do so by accessing the live stream of this meeting on the town's YouTube channel, youtube.com/freetownma, or accessible by visiting freetownma.gov/freecam. In the event the live stream is unsuccessful, I am recording this meeting, and the recording will be posted to the town's YouTube channel as soon as I am able to following the conclusion of this meeting. Before I get back to Lisa, I just wanted to thank Derek for coming to the meeting last week, but we didn't actually get to the Board of Health, but he was there for the whole time, so we appreciate you, Derek. Thank you.
No worries.
Here you go.
Thanks, Derek. All right, since this is part of the Board of Health, I'm going to turn it over to George.
Thank you. Tim, just a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Since we reconvened, my screen looks totally different. Is there a difference in what we're doing here versus the executive session?
Nope, it should be, well, I'm not sharing a document this time. Are you still seeing a document on your screen? No?
No.
Okay, good. No, it should be the same. There should just be some options probably on the top, or I'm not sure about how the iPad interface is, but there should be something you can select how it is.
Okay, all right. I'm just curious. Okay, so I have a number of issues I'd like to address. And before I go into the detail of the items, I just want to say a few words regarding my last item on here, chain of command. And I just wanted to, I put that on because I wanted to verify how we do business. And, you know, for the past year as Board of Health, I've discussed a number of things, and things didn't quite go the way I had imagined. And looking into processes, I find that what the rules and regulations and laws may say is that an individual selectman has no authority whatsoever. Only the board has authority to do anything, and the board can then give an assignment to someone to do something. But as an individual member, so as Board of Health chairman, I had really no business talking to Derek about policy or making changes. Only the whole board could do that. Is that your understanding also, Charlie, Lisa?
I would say yes. The only thing that I think, and I'm not going to get too deep, is sometimes an issue will rise in some realm of the chairmanship in which direction needs to be kind of reaffirmed. I guess I'll use that term. And that is something that we need to be cognizant of and say, as we move forward, you know, do we want that, or do we want, you know, the town administrator to go in place of the board and take all direction other than outside of policy? So, kind of to draw an inference to an issue that we did have at the Department of Health is, do you go directly to the town administrator, or do you wait for the policy to be discussed within you know, a board meeting? And sometimes when we meet, you know, as we do, you have to maybe take a little bit of a lead. Am I made myself all clear?
No.
All right, so I'll try.
Okay.
So I think that Charlie's the chair of the personnel, you're the chair of the Board of Health, and I'm the chair of the board, right? So if Charlie wanted to sit down with the employees because there was an issue, right, he could actually sit down with them and come up with a solution. And the solution would be brought back to the board, right? So he could work offline. He couldn't say, yes, do it, but he could work offline to come to some sort of consensus with them and then bring it back to the board to vote on and approve to carry out. Same thing, like you could talk about, like, I don't know, signage. You could actually have an off meeting with Derek to talk about signage or transfer station in general to come up with things that you guys both agree on and then bring it back to the board for us to vote on. And you can tell us why you guys talked about this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So you can't say, let's just take security cameras. I know we talked about this before and we voted on it and we moved it along, but you couldn't tell Derek, I want you to go out tomorrow and buy security cameras and put them up. That's a board decision because we're spending money and we're spending taxpayer money. So anything with money and any policies you can certainly discuss and then bring back to the board for a vote or for input from the board. But right. no one has the authority to do and carry out things on their own.
Well, that's exactly what my interpretation was, Lisa. You know, as chairman of this board, I have no authority outside of a board meeting with the selectmen. I can't tell Derek what to do, in other words, or change policy. So I just wanted to clarify that for myself because I don't think I understood that from the get-go.
All right.
Okay.
If George, just want to, I think we want to watch out about too is that we as a board do the policy,
yes.
You know, and the direction should be coming from the town administrator. Okay, I think that we should be. Sometimes it's easy to make a decision, a quick decision, or a quick directive, if you want to say, because we're in the heat of things. I think that we should watch and try to be more in dealing with policy and letting the day-to-day operations be left to the department heads and or the town administrator. Okay, but that being said, I guess if no one else has anything,
I would disagree a little bit with that. Is like David says many times, he does things at our direction. That's number one. Number two, policy setting is what I interpret as a board, that's our job to set policy.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. So we're basically saying the same thing.
I think we are.
Okay, all right. Is Derek online?
Yes.
Oh, hi, Derek. Okay.
Hi.
I mean, you saw the agenda I had put together.
Yep.
I'd like to update these things and see if everybody's on board with them. What is the issue now with mattresses?
I'll tie mattresses and grant together in the update. The grant, we have 3 more weeks before the first part of the grant cycle closes. It was pretty extensive, but I got it pretty much wrapped up. I'll be done this week as far as that goes. Through conversations in trying to get the grant completed, I have had conversations with DEP and we're trying one more avenue to see if we can get a little help with the mattresses. Other than that, once I hear back from them, then we make a move on the mattresses. But I wanted to extend one more avenue if we had it. So that's where we are with the grants, and that's where we are with the mattresses right now.
All right, can you give us a timeline when you expect this to be completed and the mattress is gone?
Well, money will be an issue. So at this point, if we're on our own for it, we'll probably start July 1st on getting rid of them. If not, we'll see. Hopefully, maybe an avenue opens up with DEP, and we'll see what their timeline looks like. As far as the grant cycle goes, like I said, I'll be finished this week with the application, but then the cycle doesn't close for another 3. So,
Or it doesn't close for what?
another 3 weeks.
Now, what does that really mean?
That means that you have time to apply.
Oh, okay. Didn't we have a grant before that we lost?
Yes, that was a while ago.
How long ago?
I think I've had to backtrack for 2 years now, so probably 2017, because I've had to backtrack info for 2018 and 2019.
Okay.
Just, I want to think. I don't know if we lost it, George, but I think what actually happened was the grant ended, and then there was not a grant for a while.
Right, and actually, I tried to reapply for the grant that we had previous to that, and that type of grant you can only apply for once. So I'm doing the same type of grant application, but it's going to be branched off a little bit differently. We can't even apply for the same grant that we had previous. It'll be similar, but it won't be the same.
Derek, if I may, do you know how much it costs per mattress or box spring to dispose of it? Like one mattress.
If you're throwing it out in the stream, it's going to be almost $70.
Yeah. Okay. I just curious as to what the cost.
How much have we collected?
Specifically for mattresses, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. But if
I know the rate, George, is I say no. It's what we charge is like $25. We have had this discussion in the past about raising the rate and what the alternatives or what the outcome might be, and we were kind of thinking that we wanted to make sure we got some money for them, that they got to the transfer station instead of ending up on the side of the road where we ended up having to picking them up and footing the whole fee to dispose of them.
And then you're still going to dispose of them. That a lot of communities don't charge the full price for the mattresses for that exact reason. You know, that people that they get to a certain point, they'll say, well, geez, you know, why would I want to pay $55 to dispose of a mattress when I can just take it out in the middle of the night, throw it over into the woods and be done with it? You know, that's unfortunately our society.
Okay.
That's why the rate is as low as it is.
Okay, but we can expect to have this completed by the end of July?
I would say that's probably a solid timeline, yes.
Okay.
But Derek, excuse me, but you do have proposals from companies to dispose of those, don't you?
Right, and that's what I can tap into to get moving on it relatively quickly. So
Okay.
if I end up getting an answer from DEP that says, you know, there's not much we can do, I do have quotes on what it would cost to get rid of from companies that we can just move on that.
Okay.
Yeah, that mountain is getting quite high.
It is.
Yeah, okay. On signage, Derek, this is a very minor issue, but the signage doesn't match what we charge. So can we get that corrected?
I will go up and take a look at it.
Okay. All right. And security cameras, where are you with that?
I haven't done anything in quite a while because I've been busy with other things.
Okay. as a board, what would you like to see there, Lisa, Charlie?
Well, what was your idea, George?
Well, I think that what I would do is I would get maybe 4 or 5 cameras and get them installed. And I wouldn't bother with a recorder like we had before, which disappeared. And I would pay a fee to a company to have the recordings go into the cloud. So that way nobody can monkey with it. And, you know, there's a lot of good systems out there. They're not particularly expensive. You could get a real decent system with four or 5 cameras for under $1,000. So what I'd like to get from the board today is, you know, a vote that this gets done in a given amount of time. We've been jerking around with this now for 6 months. This, you know.
Again, I've been a little bit busy.
I understand that, Derek.
Well, I sometimes I don't know, George, if you do. Like, I have a tremendous amount on my plate right now. Tremendous amount.
Well, we can farm this out to someone else. Would that be better?
I'm just, anything that you want done, I will work on getting done. But as far as how quickly I can get it done, I can't, at this point, I cannot promise anything other than I will work on it. That's the only thing I can promise.
Well, you know,
if I may,
I personally, when I have something to do, I like a timeline. Otherwise, it just continues on and on. We were talking about cameras way before COVID, when things weren't as hectic as they are now. I appreciate how busy you are now.
We were also talking about cameras during Triple E when I was also quite busy.
Right.
Well,
if I may interject.
Go ahead, Charlie.
I have a big question here about these cameras, and that what is the point of having, well, say 5 or 6 different security cameras at the transfer station? I don't, I don't see the point, to be perfectly honest with you, George.
Well, the point is, if anything happens, you have documentation. We had somebody fall in the dumpster a couple of months ago. Luckily, nothing happened. I guess the guy crawled out and everything was okay. Could have resulted in a lawsuit. That's one example. Okay, things, you know, it's like, you know, you're a retired policeman. You know that the best evidence for any issue is when you have a recording. And we all know that. That's in today's, how things are.
George, the incident with the gentleman in the dumpster was caught on the security cameras that we currently have up there.
I believe we have 3 cameras up there now. Is that correct?
But
no, we just have the one.
Couple?
No, just the one.
Just
but I've been told they're not working now, Derek. That the recorder is not there, or I don't really know exactly.
Oh, I'll have to check. I haven't heard the recorder is not working, so I'll have to check.
All right, let me do this then. Does the board feel we should have cameras? Yes or no? I mean, if the board doesn't feel we need cameras, then we won't. I think we should have
working cameras. I mean, obviously, if they're not working, we need to have them. I think we have to have them fixed if they're not working. I want to make sure that the staff there is safe. So, I mean, that would help in some sort of way to make sure that they're safe, you know, should anybody come up and do anything. Not that we've ever had a problem before.
Well, we did, Lisa. When we had these episodes with that young man, the recordings were very helpful. So that's just an instance.
Yep. I mean, so I think that the first thing is we need to make sure that they're working. If they're not working, they need to be replaced. And I don't know if I want to have 6 all over the place, but I think that, what did you say, 3 in designated areas to protect the staff, and then maybe 1 overlooking the whole site might work, or maybe even 1 at the fence, seeing people come in, you know, that kind of thing. But I mean, that's a start, right? And then if we feel we need more, we can always get more. But I think that A, they have to be working whatever we have, and B, we start small, and if we have to add some, we add some. But there's no sense in going to buy 6 cameras if only we need 2 or 3.
Okay.
There was also a lot of discussion on the camera issue that focused in on whether we wanted those cameras to be hardwired in to the individual areas, and how would we do that? Having to require the use of having an electrician in.
Yeah.
Jeff,
David, before we go to that technical,
right.
can we make sure we want cameras first?
Okay.
If we decide we want them, then we can discuss what kind.
All right. I'm just saying that that's one of the reasons what we.
Right.
Yes.
To Lisa's point, I think we should have a clear inventory and a clear view on the equipment that is there now, and then from there go forward. If you're saying there's 1 camera and we need more, okay, then we need more. But if we, do we need 3? Do we need 4? Do we need 6? So I think, to your point, I think a lot of times we have these issues that linger on and on and on. We should expedite them a little bit. So I would suggest that, Derek, could you have for us in 2 weeks information on what exactly is going on there, and how the cameras are wired or located, whatever it may be?
I mean, I have rings here in the house, and well, I probably shouldn't be saying that online.
We all do have rings. We actually talked about that as one potential thing,
Yeah, Lisa. Again, I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves. I want to make sure first that we have a vote that this is of what we want, and then the technical aspects can be ironed out after the fact. I don't want to bury this in technicalities right now, so that we can move along.
Well, I guess one of the questions is the existing system sufficient in terms of what it is that we need? And is there really a need for an expanded system? What is that new system bias? Does it bias additional ground coverage? Does it bias higher resolution? Does it bias, an ability to record to the cloud, which it seems to be an important function?
All the above, David, all the above.
So I think for me, would I like to see security cameras there? I want to see working security cameras there. Do I want to see 10 of them? No. So my consensus is, yes, I think there should be security cameras, but the rest of how many, I don't know. So I think that's my consensus would be, yes, there should be security cameras. We have security cameras at every other building, or will be having security cameras at every other building. So
yeah, we're working on that anyways. So Lisa, how should we proceed? Who does what now?
Well, Charlie recommended having Derek report back with the information on, number 1, how many cameras we have there. Number 2, where they're situated. Number 3, whether they are or are not actually working.
So again, back to your chain of command point of this, I think you have a consensus from the board that we want to see working cameras there. And I think that you need to follow up with Derek. And then when we do the Board of Health at the next meeting, you can put that back on the agenda. So okay. I think you do have the authority to do that. That's okay. You as the Board of Health chair.
Can you make a motion?
For?
That's what we do.
Okay. I'll make a motion through the Board of Health chair that we we have you touch base and work with Derek on securing security cameras and what is needed at the transfer station.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll concur with that. I'll just ask the board and Derek, would 2 weeks be too short enough? Because I agree with George in that it's good to have a timeline to have, okay, at least another report. So we know we're moving down the road instead of just standing at the intersection.
In 2 weeks, I can absolutely tell you, like I can tell you right now, we have one camera that's up there and it's situated on the trailer. I mean, I can tell you within 2 weeks if the system is working properly or not for sure.
Okay.
The problem is with the current system.
Maybe, Derek, could you make a suggestion as to where or where not to put other cameras, or if the camera that's there is sufficient?
No, we've gone through, I've actually walked through with companies up there about where to situate cameras. I've walked through with Jeff about where we could situate cameras. I have plenty of ideas as to where we could put, whether it's another one camera, 2, 3, like I have plenty of places that I've already, eyeballed as good locations for cameras.
Okay.
And George, you can, or you should go up with Derek and see where you think that they should be. And you're probably both on the same page.
All right, so do we have a vote that we want the cameras, functioning cameras?
Yes.
All right.
I said yes, and I don't know. Did you call the vote?
To preliminary placement of possible additional cameras, or if needed, I'll go along with that. Yeah, okay. I'll second that motion. I don't want to say that I'm going to vote to put 4 more cameras up there.
Right. That's how I feel too.
All right.
Okay. So we have a motion to analyze the system as it exists.
George, can we just reiterate that motion then? Because that's not what I have written down here.
Okay. What do you have written down?
I have to have Selectman Grunwald touch base with Mr. Macedo about securing security cameras and determine what is needed at the transfer station.
Perfect. That's the motion.
Is that what you're seconding, Charlie?
I will second that, yes.
Okay, then we are good to go to call the vote.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Selectman Sullivan?
Aye.
Selectman Pacheco?
Yes.
And Selectman Grunwald?
Yes.
Passes unanimously.
All right. Okay, cash control, next item. The issue that I have is that we handle an awful lot of cash, and there is very little accountability. And whenever you have cash floating around like that, you need a almost bulletproof system. Otherwise, it just begs for issues. I've looked at different possibilities. The simplest one that's out there, it's relatively inexpensive, is to purchase a internet connected modern cash register. And that would do everything that you would expect. Someone comes in, pays credit card, check, cash, whatever. It gets keyed in. The receipt is printed out, time stamped. And you can use credit cards, cash, or check. And there is total record of every transaction, total accountability. It can be checked by, say, the treasurer off-site, doesn't have to go there. And I think it's the right thing to do.
I just want to add one thing. I have no problem with the cash register idea. The only issue that you're going to have is the credit card part of it. Anything that we buy would have to be compliant with Unibank because that's who we use for our credit cards. Yeah, so something that would have to get checked out through probably Jessica would be what the process is as far as if we wanted to link a cash register to Unipay.
Okay. Okay, so you don't have a problem with this, Derek?
No, the cash register idea is it's not a big deal at all. It'll print out a receipt. We can add it to the receipts that we already have. That part of it's fine. But like I said, the caveat to it is the credit cards needing to match up with Unipay.
All right, Derek, let's do this. Well, we'll take a vote on this, but can we set up a meeting with Jessica to discuss this, because she is basically responsible for the receipts? Is that not correct?
No, right now the receipts all come to me. The credit card receipts would go to her, but no one never uses the cash up there. So Jessica's maybe done it twice.
All right.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we investigate and see the cost of this, and once we have the estimate of the cost, then we would discuss it a little bit more. Just so we all know, I'm starting to lose power kind of quickly. I'm down to like 37%.
Okay, I'll go quickly. The cost for this is approximately $1,000 plus or minus 200, let's say. So if you're okay with that, then I would suggest that Derek and I investigate this and give you a report in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's fine.
Happy to be party to that if you want.
Sure.
On both this and the other issue.
Great. Okay. Sounds good. All right. So somebody want to make a motion that we do this?
Okay. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. We really don't need to be making motions on all of this stuff. As long as you have a consensus and what we're going to vote on at the end is the purchase of a cash register and the purchase of the security camera.
All right.
So we're going to give you direction to do all of that. And then you're going to come back and then that's what we would vote on. We don't need to vote on all these. We're going to you're the chair. You should be working on this stuff. That's your purview.
Okay. All right.
And we are going to, just as a point of information, we are going to need a funding source, because all of these things are not things that are normally or are presently part of the budget.
Right.
Okay.
I'm sure that can come out of reserve if we find that there's a need for that right now. So I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, we can put a reserve fund transfer in.
All right. Derek, I was at the transfer station a couple of weeks ago, and I was told the credit card system wasn't working. What's happening with that?
It is working. There was an issue with the link that got fixed a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. All right. Staffing. We have a full-time person or part-time, and we haven't hired a backup per diem.
We had offered to 3, 1 accepted the position, and then that even get them started.
So I'm sorry about the phone.
Wireless color.
So do we have someone or not for a backup?
We have Vicky and we have Roger. That's it right now. And we have per diem that has not started.
Yeah, the two per diem, they were contacted. I guess Derek was going to set up some training for them. Allie needed them to complete some forms. On both cases, that did not happen. So I would say that their interest probably isn't there. And if there is an interest in having a per diem person, then we're going to probably have to go, well, we could revisit and see if they're still interested, or just once again put out another ad to see if we can get some per diem people that are interested.
All right. So can you follow up with that, Derek?
I will do my best.
Okay. The transfer station schedule, can we put that back on normal schedule?
It was as of this past weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not an issue.
That was all part of that other email I had sent you earlier in a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. Now, there were some issues with the dumpsters, rentals. We had briefly talked about that.
Yeah, I have done nothing with that.
Yep, okay. Well, can you have a report for us next week or next meeting?
I will do my best.
Can we,
What is the
George,
issue?
George, can we push the dumpsters off until July 1st, just like the mattresses?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I guess that kind of wraps up what I wanted to bring up today. So Derek, we'll need to get together sometimes, maybe next week, and go to a transfer station and look at the systems. Okay?
Yep.
I'd be happy to be part of that. So,
Well, glad to have you. Okay.
Why don't you guys try to do it the same day that we're going to do the walkthrough for a town meeting? So David, you won't have to come down here
yeah, well,
twice.
yeah. That's is that the 3rd or the 5th?
That's
this Wednesday. I won't. It's going to be tough Wednesday.
What?
Wednesday would be real tough for me.
Okay, no worries.
All right, we can figure it out.
Okay.
Thanks for at least thinking of it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So next, Lisa, you're on.
Oh, thank you. All right. Weekly warrants numbered 49 to 53. Do I have a motion to sign?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Sullivan,
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
and Selectman Pacheco.
Yes.
Passes unanimously.
Thank you. Interdepartmental transfer for $1,000.
What is that for?
It's actually an intra-departmental. It's a typo there.
Oh, okay.
For overtime from full-time employee account to the overtime account.
I'll make a motion.
No.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Selectman Sullivan,
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
and Selectman Pacheco.
Yes.
Great. Passes unanimously.
All right. I have to go to my agenda because it's too hard to do the packet and the agenda at the same time.
Would you like me to read through the agenda for us?
Departmental transfer for the transfer station.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect.
How much was that for?
300, hold on. Yeah, you know what, Tim? It's $584.
Okay.
All right, Selectman Sullivan,
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
and Selectman Pacheco.
Yes.
All right, that passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is a reserve fund transfer request for the elections department. There's a couple different requests in there.
So this is just to send it over to the finance committee. It's from Jackie. It's because of early voting ballots for the local elections and the special, because of the special act from the governor. The first one that's requested is $550.
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Sullivan,
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
and Selectman Pacheco.
Yes. The second one is also from the, to send it over to the FinCom. It's in the amount of $100. It's to the maintenance agreement for the voting equipment.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Sullivan,
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
and Selectman Pacheco.
Aye. Okay, the third one is in the amount of $1,400. It's payroll for the annual election to be held on June 16th, 2020.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Sullivan,
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
and Selectman Pacheco.
Yes. The other one is $70. Again, it's from Jackie. It's for postage for the early voting ballots for the annual election.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Sullivan,
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
and Selectman Pacheco.
Yes.
All right. So the next on the agenda is the fiscal year 2021 environmental services for Howland Road landfill agreement with Woodward and Curran. It's just a renewal of the contract from last year.
So this is just the updated monitoring program that's outlined by DEP, things that we have to do, monitors groundwater and all the other stuff at the transfer station. This is needed, so it's just a vote to sign the agreement.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Sullivan,
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
and Selectman Pacheco.
Yes.
All right, passes unanimously. Next item is the Board of Selectmen's minutes. I have May 6th, May 14th, and May 18th.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Oh, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Sullivan,
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
and Selectman Pacheco.
Aye.
Passed unanimously. Town Administrator's report.
Okay, I have a few things. One is that I am this week going to be working on submitting our first drawdown in certification for the CARES program. That is $826,000 that we received for COVID-related activities. I'm going to be meeting virtually with the town accountant and with the fire chief tomorrow to put together the application, just to give you the heads up. It's due on Friday, so it will be done, potentially tomorrow and on Wednesday. The refrigeration project at the Council on Aging is moving rapidly. We do have a drawing on the foundation. The foundation is going to be put in by the highway department. They're also doing some additional work with the retaining walls that are needed as part of the project. Jeff has done an excellent job helping us out with that and basically leading the process in getting us to this point. And we're looking at having the full unit installed by June 20th. So that's a project that's been ongoing for quite a while now, and it's slowly but surely coming to completion. We're also continuing to work on the reopening plan, which includes not only making sure we have adequate supplies and materials, but also making sure that the work environment is safe and that we are, and I have some pictures of, we have actually put glass panels in where the sliding windows were. Jeff has, once again, has done an excellent job in handling all of that and taking the lead in terms of coordinating the things that need to be done. We're in the process of looking at individual offices and how they're spaced, because it has to be social distancing. There also has to be protection barriers in a number of the offices. And once again, this money is coming out of the COVID money. And it's probably going to be a permanent thing. So we want to make sure that it's not just packed in and a temporary 2x4 kind of thing. We want it to be something that's going to look, fitting for the building as well as a part of the permanent structure of the building. So we're continuing, we've developed policies on opening our operations once again full-time. And we've had several meetings with the department heads to talk about our plans. We're still at mid-June. mid to late June, and we're continuing to make progress on it. We have all the rules and regulations that have been promulgated by the state, and one being the 25% capacity rule on individual offices. There is an exclusion to that if the function in the office is considered essential. We're basically, have laying out the steps that we need to have in place in order to be able to create a safe office environment, not only for the employees, but for the residents coming in. One point of topic that we're going to need to talk to the board about, I guess, is whether we're going to allow residents to come in off the street, and how many residents we'd would allow in at any one time, or whether it would be preferable that the residents make appointments and organize the opening of the town hall, the reopening of the town hall in that fashion, until things at least get back to a somewhat normal sense of operations. So that's what we're moving forward on. That's it.
Thank you. When do you plan on having that given to us?
In terms of the plan itself, or
yes.
Yeah, I could probably next meeting we could have it. It's all framed out. We're still refining it. We're doing the physical changes that need to be done. Obviously, certain departments are going to be later in the opening process, such as the Council on Aging and the library, given their clientele. But the first building that probably will be open will be Town Hall. So I'll have something next meeting.
Okay. Guys, do you have any questions?
Yeah. No. David, did you say you were contemplating letting the public in by appointment only?
That's one of the things we have talked about, yeah. Yeah,
because that might, I think that's probably a good idea. So that
way we can control the numbers in the building too.
Right, and not have people milling around outside.
Yep. The other thing too is just the flow of people in and out of the building. If somebody goes in and wants to come in through the front door, but has an appointment on the second floor, we're going to have arrows pointing them out to the entry on the left-hand side of the building, so they don't backtrack through back to the front door. Just to minimize the traffic in the building and the hallways. So we're looking at a whole bunch of things, actually. Putting together a questionnaire for the employees and that kind of thing.
And I just wanted to say, Jeff the building inspector did a great job with the windows on the first floor. They just look great. I was very, very surprised to see them in today, and they look great.
Yeah, he's been awesome, actually. Yeah. To tell you the truth, he has really stepped up and taken a lead in terms of, the windows and even the petitions he's looking at, having them, done in such a fashion that they're not going to be like a ticky-tacky kind of, just plywood and plastic or plexiglass. He's going to do something that's going to be visually pleasing and look like it's part of the building. So
yeah, the windows look like they've been there for a long time. So yeah. They look very good.
Awesome.
All right. So next on the agenda is the police station update.
So we have a meeting this week. Charlie, will you be there?
I plan on being there, yes.
Okay, perfect. Just
it's on site, correct?
Yes, it's on site. Just to give everybody a heads up, this pandemic has hit everybody hard, I know. It also has interfered with some of the police station, not the construction itself, but from getting materials from vendors that are not working. So I just want to put you guys on notice that we'll be looking into that and what that's going to cost us in delay, if any cost, and if that alters the timeline. So I just don't want anybody to be surprised. Construction is going accordingly, but trying to get those things that we need from the vendors is, since the vendors are not working, is hard. So I just wanted to give everybody an update on that. And I've also asked, we're continuing with the cleaning cost, and it's pricey. So we're hoping that some of that will be covered by the COVID money that we have, and David is looking into that. So we're looking to seek some of that money back, because that is not in our that is something that we did not expect. So I think that definitely should come from COVID money, but we need a clarification, and David is working on that. So I just want to let everybody know, so you're not surprised.
How much money do you have available in COVID money?
$826,000. It's a substantial amount. There's also a discussion going on right now at the state level between the state and the feds about whether that money can also be used for a decline in revenues. If we get to that point where, you know, our revenues are down by 10%, can we then use those monies to offset those declines in revenue? They're not at a decision point yet, so I can't speak to that, but there is a firm hope by a lot of communities, and the managers group in particular has been advocating that and has had a lot of discussion with both the governor, lieutenant governor, and all the powers that be. So they are talking about it.
Okay, that's it for me.
All right, Tim, if you can't put the agenda on the screen, would you mind just reading them? Oh, I know the first one's the annual appointments.
No, that one's actually last. I did that last this time.
I have
a few other things.
All right.
A few other things that have to be done first.
Backwards or upside down, right?
You just try to flip the paper upside down.
Yeah.
A request from Council on Aging Director Barbara Place regarding fiscal time 2020 vacation time.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
David, have you verified this?
Actually, she approached me about it. She said that because of the COVID activities at the counseling, she is unable to use her time that she has accrued, and she would like to carry some of that time over. And I told her that I thought that, you know, just like Derek, where the activity that she's in essential personnel and she has been working pretty diligently, that she doesn't have, she can't take the time now, but she wants to carry it over.
So is that your recommendation?
That would be my recommendation, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve upon the town administrator's recommendation.
Second.
All right. Could I just add to that this is because of an extraneous issue, and it's not to be seen as policy in general? Anyone have any objection to that?
No, but I would also expand on that, you know, we need to be cautious on how we approach these things. And I would want David to make sure that he is doing a background and not an investigation, that's not the right terminology, but verifying that these are all valid reasons.
Okay. All right. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald?
Aye.
Selectman Pacheco?
Yes.
And Selectman Sullivan?
Aye.
All right, passes unanimously. Next is we have a retirement letter from Mark Audette as custodial maintenance worker.
I'll make a motion to approve acceptance of this letter with the last date of June 30th, 2020.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald?
Aye.
Selectman Pacheco?
Yes.
And Selectman Sullivan?
Aye.
All right, next we have a letter of resignation from Katrina Gonzalez as Finance Committee Clerk effective June 1st and temporary senior clerk for the Conservation Commission effective June 9th.
Motion made.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
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 All right, Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
Selectman Pacheco,
Aye.
and Selectman Sullivan.
Aye.
All right, passes unanimously. Next, we have a whole bunch of appointments. A lot of them came from when I was putting together the annual reappointments, which is why I have that on last. First is the appointments for the Tax Increment Financing Board, which is the TIF board, all effective May 1st, 2020. We have Mike Motta, the chairman of the Board of Assessors, Lisa, the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, Gary Martin, chairman of the Finance Committee, Kevin Damaris, chairman of the Planning Board, David DeMonch as town administrator, and Jessica Thomas as treasurer tax collector.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
Selectman Pacheco,
Aye.
and Selectman Sullivan.
Aye.
All right. Next is another appointment, David DeMonch as Serpid Commission member. That will be effective May 22nd.
Make a motion to approve.
Could I make one recommendation that we also have Chris McKay listed as an alternate member because there have been a number of meetings that I haven't been able to attend only because we've had board meetings or police station building committee meetings on the same night. So to have him available as an alternate, that would be extremely helpful.
Any discussion?
I just don't want to see this start to creep out of control with overtime cost with him going. That's the only thing that we'd have to take into consideration. So
right.
I'll agree to this, only we need to monitor that that's not going to happen.
All right.
Once overtime and whatever else time, it gets out of hand.
All right, I'll work that part out.
Okay, thank you.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
Selectman Pacheco,
Aye.
and Selectman Sullivan.
Aye.
All right. Next is we have a couple different election workers. I'll do them together if the board doesn't mind. We have
No
Paul.
problem.
All right. We have Paul Thibodeau and Ashley Emery, both as election workers effective June 1st.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
Selectman Pacheco,
Yes.
and Selectman Sullivan.
Aye.
All right, passes unanimously. Next, we have Eric Richard as working foreman. This is an extension of the MOA that was signed at the last meeting. He would be effective July 1st, 2020.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, signify. Aye.
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 Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
Selectman Pacheco,
Yes.
and Selectman Sullivan.
Aye.
Perfect, passes unanimously. So we have a couple different committees on the agenda to disband because they are no longer needed. We have the preliminary screening committee for the purpose of filling an assistant transfer station attendant vacancy, and then another preliminary screening committee for the purpose of filling the upcoming library director vacancy.
Make a motion to disband or
Second.
approve the disbandment.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And Selectman Grunwald,
Aye.
Selectman Pacheco,
Yes.
and Selectman Sullivan.
Aye.
All right, passes unanimously. So next we do have the annual reappointments. They're all listed on the agenda. It's quite a long list, but I do have some edits that a couple names we have to take off there. So I'll read through those and then we can do what we need to do. I still unfortunately have Karen Mello listed on there in a couple different places. Unfortunately, as we know, we'll have to take her off there. She's listed as assistant assessor and the public records clerk for the Board of Assessors. We'll also have to take out Sheila Scuduto as the public records clerk for the Board of Assessors, Charlie Sullivan as public records clerk for the Board of Selectmen. All reappointments for the Historical Commission and the Scholarship Committee. I had a few dates wrong there, so I'll redo those. Let's see, David DeMonch as sign certification officer, that needs to be corrected, and Seth Wagner as truck driver. All need to be stricken from that list.
I'll make a motion to approve with the amendments made by the administrative assistant as recorded in the agenda.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's actually it for the agenda. I did just want to give, I don't have any updates for old business.
Wait, you got to call the roll.
Oh, yes, I do. Good job. Selectman Grunwald.
Yes.
Selectman Pacheco.
Yes.
And Selectman Sullivan.
Aye.
All right. So as I said, I don't have any updates for old business, but I do just want to give a scheduling update and make sure everyone's available. We had discussed pushing a few different agenda items till after the annual town election, as we would normally do. That's not one of our meeting weeks, so are you guys available? I should say maybe just George and potentially Charlie to have the meeting's typically scheduled for the 15th on the 21st, or sorry, 22nd instead.
That's fine.
I have no objection.
Okay, and on the 15th, instead of having a regular meeting, we actually have a poll relocation hearing and potentially a Board of Health variance. Would it be okay to have that? Me and Lisa discussed having basically Lisa and myself and plus any abutters that need to go at the COA, and then have the rest of you available by Zoom or whatever, or you could come in person. Just your choice. Is that okay with everybody?
What are the two dates you mentioned?
This one, the 15th, which is a regular meeting night, and then pushing the bulk of that agenda to the 21st instead.
21st?
I'm sorry, 22nd.
Oh,
so the Monday night.
Okay.
We have to have the poll meeting, so all the abutters need to be there. So it would be hard to add them all in on Zoom. So Tim and I were talking, maybe we'll just have it at the COA, but spread out in the back, have that. And then probably try not to put anything else on the agenda that night because in that way we wouldn't have to. But then if you guys didn't want to go, you didn't have to. But if you wanted to, of course. And we could just do it on Zoom with whoever the remaining Board of Selectmen are. You follow me?
Got it.
Okay.
All right, then that's all I got.
All right.
Now, do we have a meeting tomorrow?
Yes, we have
do.
the joint meeting with the Finance Committee to discuss the budget.
Okay, what time is that?
It starts at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Okay.
You better fire up your iPad.
Yep, I got it. Now it's at least not losing it.
Fire that baby up. All right, anything else?
Jenna.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Sullivan.
Aye.
Selectman Grunwald.
Aye.
And Selectman Pacheco.
Yes. Thank you guys for a great meeting.
All right.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.